Thank you, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, for inviting me to open this exhibition, Stories to Wake Up With, curated by Moran B. Noon. It is always a pleasure to come to the Market Studios, an independent non-profit studio founded and run by practicing artists. I am impressed by the solidarity enacted by the artist-curator collectives that work here, and I feel honoured to have been invited to address you today about the situation of the arts in Europe, and in particular about our own country, Ireland. The Netherlands, Hungary, Spain, Great Britain, Greece, Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, Syria, Japan. A list in progress of countries with synonyms for crises, hopes, disasters that are changing the world so fast we can't keep track. Financial devastations threatening the whole European project, the rise of the populist right, fundamental destruction of economical, educational and cultural structures, democratic uprisings, Islamic fundamentalism, threats of technological and ecological catastrophes. Where to start, where to end? What is the role of art in this race of events that we can barely follow, let alone properly understand, at a time when theory and practice are constantly running behind reality? When art is seen rather as a mere leftist hobby than as a foundation of humanity. We live in an era of free market neoliberal autocracy where deregulation has created a breeding ground for a fraudulent kleptocratic elite who voice their failures when the least financially solvent through forced austerity. Together with populist issues of abortion, immigration and gay rights, the issue of arts funding is easily used by conservative politicians as a scapegoat to attack the value systems of the intellectual elite who simultaneously enjoy the art's social benefits and espouse its hierarchical value system. In times such as these, why should we as a government choose to fund the arts, popularly regarded as diversions of the bourgeoisie? Viewed through the populist lens, what has the taxpayer to gain from subsidizing the visual arts, a form of entertainment, an elitist hobby whose internal political systems and hermetic discourses are widely regarded to be ironically just as opaque to outsiders as the wider political and socio-economic systems they attempt to critique. Not only has the art world its own clearly delineated hierarchy, social events and exclusive language, which Art Collective Triple Canopy recently dubbed International Art English. It has become a system of prostitution, so literally embodied by Andrea Fraser in her work Untitled from 2003, where she represents a younger, less symbolically affluent class competing to empower their careers through a most ignoble system of ingratiation to a more powerful class of established institutions, collectors, curators, and art patrons. Dublin Contemporary, with its threatening themes, critiquing economic crises, nonconformism, and inequality, also embodied this paradigm through its select opening night guest list. Only critics, press, and names of people could partake in the festivities. What exactly are these events trying to prove? Are they not just hypocritically manifesting the inequalities they seek to repudiate? Who now are the oligarchs of this symbolic economic world that artists and their middlemen, a team of curators, administrators, and critics seek to please? Actual oligarchs, in fact, rich patrons who join the ranks of commodity fetishists, fawning over the latest artist brand as they would over the latest piece of designer couture. In the visual arts, both symbolic and financial capital trickle from the top down. Artists are reified into brands to be bought and sold like commodities. Their self-expression is rated based on a mixture of their symbolic and financial capital, earned through a combination of fame, media exposure, and the market value of their products. Brands that fetch top dollar are then bought and exhibited by publicly funded museums, culturally sacred spaces whose supposed province is public engagement and wider cultural education. Funding goes to the institutions that carry the most symbolic and cultural prestige, leaving the alternative, the underground artist-run collectives and galleries, outside of this world of money, free from the constraints of collectors' tastes yet unable to tap into the creation of cultural capital and media promotion that is needed to achieve validity in the eyes of public funding bodies. What really is the difference between the arts and the more popular opiates of the masses, sporting events, or X Factor, for example? This is a question that needs to be answered. By comparing volumes of spectators, from a utilitarian perspective, I would suggest that as a niche form of entertainment, the arts are far less necessary in the creation of social cohesion as the more popular football or music spectacles provide. However, proponents of the arts argue for its necessary subsidization via the propagation of a self-serving illusion, claiming it has an intrinsic nobility that creates wider socio-economic benefits. The arts are credited as a means of counteracting indoctrination, providing a countercultural viewpoint through exposing ulterior political motives and the propaganda, rhetoric, and aesthetics politicians use to develop a sense of pathos with their voters and their apathy in the democratic process. The influential propagandist Edward Bernays believed that in a democracy, voters were not intelligent enough to make their own decisions, that manipulation of the public was necessary through the media, and that the public should be sheltered from information regarding the running of the affairs of their government. Our media's viewpoint is similarly skewed by the motives of its advertisers. Sports and entertainment programming are used as a means to soothe and distract its audience from its own discontentment. The media has produced a monoculture that induces an asphyxiation of free thinking and a general political and economic illiteracy. In mainstream museum institutions, rather than informing the public, attempts at mainstream art education make the art world ever more irrelevant to the public, as their attempts at public engagement serve to encrypt discussions and distance even further the voting public. Snobby gallerinas welcome visitors to museums. Exhibition education programs that include academic panels attempt to engage with the public that is usually comprised of a select audience of art insiders. Here, artists, academic dilettantes who are physically detached from the situations in which they comment provide a superficial analysis of complex socio-economic issues backed up by outdated theories which they make no attempt to decode for the theoretically illiterate. A lack of personal involvement in real political initiatives and an eschewal of the involvement of genuine experts and practitioners in the field undermines their supposed concerns as insincere champagne socialism. The art audience is similarly detached, their appreciation often derived from a formalist appreciation of the aesthetic lineage of pioneers from the genre of socially engaged art, pioneers such as Martha Rosler, for example. All these factors combine to sideline these attempts at public engagement as trivial conceits and are made irrelevant as they are ignored by both the mainstream media and the voting populace. Funding mechanisms for the arts depend on popular support. Bernays recognized that entertainment is what really engages. Perhaps it is time to embrace the popular media, incorporate an ethos of inclusivity, and accept the tastes and local languages of the masses in an attempt to appeal to greater volumes of people. The entanglement of artists and other cultural producers in economic and political structures and inequalities that affect them, but that also affect others to a far greater degree, necessitates an embodied and active critique that goes beyond a fetishistic focus on an ultimately narrow set of institutions and theories, either in the art world or in academia. If the public continues to view the arts as a sycophantic network for wealthy social collectors on the one hand, or as a platform for impenetrable academic theory on the other, then just as in Holland, arts funding in Ireland may soon become a relic of our leftist past.